now I can finally actually start this video. Okay, someone actually requested me to do this video. At first I wasn't going to do it because I feel like if people wanted to know what fall shows I'm watching, you can follow me on Twitter. Just grabbed a piece of my hair on accident. But you can. I tweet about almost every show I watch all the time. I'm always tweeting whether I hate it, whether I love it, what's going on, and stuff like that. You can always follow me there, or Snapchat, even Instagram on my story thingy. I talk about shows a lot. But I feel like not everyone follows me there, which they should anyway, but I could always just talk more about my shows here. And you guys know I'm a huge TV person. I did that video, 20 Things TV Show Addicts Do, and like if you're addicted to TV in any way, shape, or form, you should watch that. And it doesn't even have 100 views, and it's kind of annoying because I worked really hard on that video and it was like really hard for me to do and embarrassing. But regardless, these are shows that coming on during fall, like that are live right now, not live, but like coming out new episodes every week. As of right now, which is mid-October, these are the ones that I've been watching lately that I really, really love. Let's get into this video, which is fall shows that I'm loving. Number one show I've talked about before is Shameless. That comes on Sunday nights at 9 on Showtime. It's so good. If you have Showtime, you can watch all that on demand for free. I want to say now Shameless, the US version, is on Netflix. I'm not sure. But it's so good. I love Emmy Rossum. She's an amazing actress. The guy who plays the dad, amazing actor. Everyone really on that show is so, so talented. It's just pretty much a family, and it's not realistic because like the things that happen are not realistic, but it's one of those shows, like no matter what show you're watching, I feel like there's so many shows where people have money. Like the families have enough money that they're not concerned about sending people to college or buying things, or like, I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but like, you know, every show, sitcom, drama, whatever, it's like, it's not realistic because they don't have everyday issues. In this show, they do have everyday issues as well as like the bigger season issues. And it's about this whole family, it's a huge family, and that the dad is an alcoholic and the mom has bipolar disorder, and she's like off. She kind of like left them. The oldest sister is kind of taking care of all of her brothers and sisters, and they just kind of survive. You know, the oldest sister also goes through different relationships, and they go through real struggles, and it has its really heartwarming moments, but it's also so funny. Van from Reba is in it, and I'm obsessed with him. He is hilarious. I just think it's so funny, but it's also so like intense, and like it has the perfect balance of like funny and serious and like dumb and like everything. Like, I don't know anyone who wouldn't like this show. I think it's definitely a good guy-girl show. Like, it's not the kind of show that your boyfriend's gonna be like, ew, I'm not watching that with you. You know what I mean? It's a very like guy-friendly show. Okay, Monday night I watched Dancing with the Stars, which isn't really much to say. I guess like for people who think that it's weird or like wouldn't enjoy it, you're wrong. I always thought it was super weird. Like, I think my mom watched it once and was telling me it was good, and I was like, like, why would I care? Like, I don't know anything about dancing. And I don't, and I still don't, and I watched it just simply because there was people I liked on it. Like, I watched it when Candace Cameron Bure, and I watched when Bethany Moda was on it, and then every year there's just like, I watched the first episode and there's like that one star you really like, and then you get to know the dancers. Like, this season 2 dancers who've been on the show for years now got engaged. Like, it's just so sweet, and like you want to follow the whole family around, like the dancers, and the stars that have been on it before come back, and like it's just such a like a warm show. It also makes me realize I'm so uncoordinated. I can never do anything like that. I've been addicted to it now that I've started watching it, and it's a very nice show. It's like relaxing. It's not too intense. This season my favorite is James, the one from IndyCar racing. I had no idea who he was, but he's so good. He's so talented. He's definitely my favorite. Another show that I've never watched in my life before, and until this season because Natasha Bure was trying out, which is The Voice. I don't really get it. I used to love American Idol like way back, but this is very different. The whole situation is kind of confusing. I do like that the auditions are blind, like they don't see the person. I think that's kind of cool, but I don't get like the battles, and like I've only gotten so far into it now. But if you watch The Voice, let me know like what you think about it. I have people I like, but I feel like it's the kind of show where if the person I like doesn't make it, I don't want to keep watching. Like Dancing with the Stars, if someone I like my favorite person gets voted off, I get bummed out, but I still keep watching. But I feel like with The Voice, it's not as interesting. I don't know. I like that Miley Cyrus is on it. I feel like she's the one keeping me watching it as of right now. Another Monday night show is Supergirl, and I think I talked about this in a video at some point, but it is amazing. First of all, Chris Wood, my favorite actor. Like, I'm obsessed with him. He's gorgeous. Like, he is my phone background. I love him. He was on Containment, by the way, which is on Netflix right now, so go watch it if you didn't watch it when it was on TV, because it's like the best show ever. But anyway, Chris Wood, who's also on Vampire Diaries, he is going to be on Supergirl, and he was on the first episode, but he was like in a coma. I found out he was gonna be on season 2. I watched all of season 1 on Netflix. I was really getting into it. Like, even without him in it, I really like the show. I really like all the actors. No one really pisses me off. It's kind of cheesy, like a little bit, just because like, oh, she's wearing like a superhero outfit, and it's very like comic booky, but I really like it. Like, I never was into that kind of thing. Like, I always liked The Amazing Spider-Man just because of Andrew Garfield, but this show, it has that comic book element, and it pulls from like the comic book stuff, you know, but it's different, and I really like it a lot. Like, I was so surprised how much I fell in love with it. If it looks dumb to you, give it a chance, because it's actually really, really good, and I cannot wait for Chris Wood to like be alive and like be acting in it. I think that you guys will like it if you like a lot of the shows I recommend. Tuesday Night Show. This is something I'm not watching, but I watched the first episode of it, and I ranted about it on Twitter, which is Ben and Lauren happily ever after ? First of all, why would you, as an engaged couple trying to like be happy, sign on to a show that says ? at the end of happily ever after? Why would you do that? Don't get it. So dumb. You can tell that the show is so produced. It's like not a reality show. It's so fake. Like, I would just so much rather see them in their everyday lives, like just doing stuff and like that, than having it be so like trying to be dramatic when it's not. Lauren made herself look so bad. Like, I'm really hoping that she is faking it for the show. Otherwise, I feel really bad for Ben, because she's being such a nag, and like all she does, like literally in the first episode, she said JoJo's name more than her own. She's happily engaged, and so are you. So move on. Like, if you're saying you're still friends with her, but then why do you have such a problem? Like, it shouldn't be awkward. Like, why would it be awkward? You're literally nagging so much, and she can't communicate well. All she does is complain and complain and complain, and then doesn't do anything about it. Like, she just can't fully communicate and have a real conversation with Ben, and I feel like he's trying so hard, and she's just like making it so difficult. I really hope that in real life they're better than that. But what bothers me about them as a couple is I love JoJo so much because she's real. She's such a real person. Even on Ben's season, she was more of like his friend. She was there for him. She talked to him when he was struggling, and I feel like him and Lauren are like so happy. It's fake. Like, even when you follow them on social media, they don't fight. It's all happies and smiles and everything. But when you follow like JoJo and Jordan, they fight and they bicker, and it's real, and I think that's better. I mean, that's just my opinion, obviously, but like when you put your relationship out there, you give people the right to talk about it. Like, oh my god, if you watched that first episode, please tell me you agree with me, and if you don't, then I don't even know why you watch my channel, to be honest. New Girl. New Girl is a show that I've been watching for years. It's all on Netflix if you want to catch up. A lot of sitcoms I watch, I find that I like watching them much more on Netflix, and like watching them all back to back. When you watch them every week, it kind of can be like, oh, what is even the point of watching this episode, because only like one or two big things happen each season. But I still watch live anyway, and then I catch up like again and like rewatch it on Netflix, so definitely try that. You'll get into it more that way. But I love Nick Miller, and that's why I watch it. And Zooey Deschanel is amazing. And oh, this show, a lot of people asked me about this. This Is Us on NBC. It comes on after The Voice on Tuesdays, and it's really good. I really like a lot of the actors in it. I don't love Mandy Moore so much, but it's like 3 different stories that all are linked, and I love that. The parents of the family, and then the kids of the family growing up like years apart, and it's kind of like a lot of flashbacks, but it's not confusing whatsoever. It's very heartwarming. It said it's like the #1 new show between 18 and 45 or something. I'm not sure if that's right. It's not so dramatic that you like get heart palpitations watching or anything. It's not like Pretty Little Liars or something. It's nice to see like these characters aren't overdone. That's something I really like about it. I think is that in so many TV shows, whether it's a drama or it's a comedy, there's someone like their main characteristic is too overdone. Like Manny on Modern Family, like his main characteristic of being that kind of person is overdone, as well as like every other kid on that show. Like, oh, one's a stupid one, and one's like the shallow one, and one's a smart one. Like, it's too much. Like, no one in real life is too much of that. Like, not really anyway. And I feel like this show does that really well, making the characters seem so real because they have more than one side. They're not just all one thing. And I like that a lot. Okay, #2 on Tuesday, or 3 on Tuesday, I don't know, is on ABC, and it's American Housewife. I wasn't gonna watch this simply because you can tell from the commercials that it's very like skinny shaming type show, and I don't like that. This show is about a woman who's a mother, and it's kind of like a Roseanne kind of thing, I feel like. So she considers herself to be the second fattest woman in her town, and she's raising her family, and they're renting a house, and everyone else in this town is rich, and they're different, and she's very real, and that's what everyone calls her. Oh, you're so real, and I love that. Like, I love that. Like, that's kind of her the kind of mother she is, the kind of mother I want to be. Like, just so real with my kids. I don't want to like lie, and I don't want to have a nanny and stuff like that. Like, no offense to anyone who does, but that's just not my style. But although from the commercial it did seem very skinny shaming, it's not really. Like, what she does is she's saying it's messed up that so many women who are mothers are focused on diets and being thin and everything, and like I think she's more insulting the lifestyle than women who are actually thin, if that makes sense. At least that's what it comes across as. So I'm giving it a chance. It's very funny, and I laughed out loud watching it. I love the woman who plays the main character, her husband, like the whole show I think is very, very funny. So thumbs up for that one. And then a Wednesday show is Modern Family. Obviously, who doesn't watch Modern Family? I just always DVR it and then watch it later. Modern Family is just heartwarming and nice and enjoyable to watch. It's never stressful. It's something you watch in the background. I wish it was on Netflix because I love to watch it from the beginning to end because I haven't caught up since then. It's very good. If you haven't watched Modern Family, you're missing out. And then another show that comes on, I want to say after Modern Family, before Modern Family, I don't know, Speechless. It is so good. I don't know if I've talked about it yet, but it's so good. It's about a boy in a wheelchair and his family and how they accommodate him. But it's also about how he wants to just be himself and the rest of the kids in the family want their attention, and I love it. It's very good. It's funny. It's really good. So I'd recommend a lot of those ABC sitcoms. Like, there's a reason that they're on the air for so long. Another Wednesday show is Younger. Younger is so good. It's on TV Land. By the way, I'll link all these down below and like let you know what time they come on and what channel and everything. Younger is on TV Land at 10 or 10:30, and it's with Hilary Duff and Sutton Foster. Oh my god, I remembered her name. Well done me. But it's about a woman who's in her 40s pretending to be 26 and be like someone's assistant and dating a guy who's 26, and she has like a love triangle with her boss and with her boyfriend. She's hiding a secret, but it's also like all the other problems that arise. It's about like the book industry as well, so I find that super interesting just because I've always been interested in like publishing. And then also Impastor is so funny. Comes on right after Younger. It's about a guy who's like a criminal who's pretending to be a pastor in a town, and he's just like pulling it off over and over again, and it's really, really, really funny, and it has like its drama mystery elements to it, but it's funny and all the characters are good. It's not as good as Younger. I definitely say I prefer Younger, but the guy who plays the pastor in Impastor is so good. Like, his acting is like what makes the show. And then Thursdays, I think Supernatural is coming on Thursdays at this point. I can't remember, but Supernatural is an amazing show. I watch it in the morning on TNT. I've caught up on Netflix like a while back, and I think they're in their 12th season. It's actually the longest running Supernatural type sci-fi show in the US ever. It's on its 12th season, and Jensen Ackles is one of my all-time favorite actors. I think he's amazing, and I think that if the show ever gets canceled, I'm gonna be so bummed. It's Sam and Dean. I'm sure you guys know Supernatural. If you don't, I'm really upset, but watch it. It's so, so, so good. I love that they don't overdo it with like the romance, and as much as I'm a girl and I love watching that, like the show doesn't, it's more about the brotherhood and these brothers and their connection. I love how they incorporate like religion and like God and all these different things into it, and it just makes you really think, and it's so interesting, it's funny. That is what that show has so much. Like, no matter how deep they get and how many intense, like warm-hearted, like crying moments there are also so many funny moments where it is hilarious, and the characters are just so well done, and they've grown and they've changed, but they still have their like souls from the beginning. I don't know. I just love it. And then Vampire Diaries is Fridays, and I love Vampire Diaries. This is the last season, very sadly. I really hope that Nina Dobrev comes back for the last episode. I'm excited to see it. It hasn't actually started yet, but I know I'm going to be watching it. I know I'm going to like it, so just wanted to throw it out there. The last one is Gilmore Girls, which obviously isn't on TV, but it's going to be on Netflix. I'm going to binge watch it all like so fast. Super excited at that. I've loved Gilmore Girls. It was probably one of the first shows next to Charmed that I got so obsessed with like so quickly. I was like super obsessed, probably where I got my coffee obsession, where I got talking so fast. I mean, I always talk fast, but that show is known for talking fast, and I watched that show so much as a kid, and I love Luke, and he's my favorite person in the whole world, and that's the kind of guy I want to end up with. I definitely recommend watching Gilmore Girls and catching up. You only have a little bit of time left to do that because it comes out November 25th. And then I also just want to mention 2 shows I'm watching right now that aren't on like live anymore. They're canceled, and that is Psych is on Ion TV. If you get that channel, just search in your like cable thing, like Psych, and it'll come up where the episodes are showing. Because Psych was recently taken off Netflix, which pisses me off to no end, I want to still watch episodes and like enjoy it. They come on at like 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. on Ion. I just record them and watch them the next day. I also watch Reba, which comes on TV Land and like Freeform and Random's channels, and they're always out of order and stuff, but I love Reba. Reba is such an underrated sitcom, and like I feel like not a lot of people have watched it, but it did last like 6 seasons or something. But I just love Van. Van is so funny. And of course Barbara Jean, because she plays Bonnie in Baby Daddy, which is another one of my all-time favorite shows lately. There's just so many funny characters in Reba, and this show is so, so, so good. That is it for this video, so I hope the girls who requested this enjoyed it, and I hope that you all enjoyed it. Let me know if you watch these shows, if you plan on starting any of them, if you have any questions about them that I didn't really answer. So I really hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you liked it by giving it a thumbs up. Please subscribe right here to see more from me. I do tons of movie and TV show videos. I will link most of them in the description box. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.